Hi everyone, it's me, Jack Cooper. I'm here to tell you today a little bit more about myself and about the Mettathon fundraiser and about the PACTS program, which is what the Mettathon is all about this year and why we're raising money. So, I've been a practicing Buddhist for 12 years now, and I'm also a man of transgender experience. So for me, Buddhist practice has to be more than just sitting on a cushion in a room somewhere. For me, it's not about self-improvement. It's about engaging the practice in the world and seeing how I can be in service to others and how I might help be able to bring an end to suffering for all beings. So about 6 years ago, 6 years ago exactly, actually, I started the Mettathon, which is what I call when I sit on my cushion for 5 hours uninterrupted and I practice loving kindness for a particular group of people in order to raise awareness and funds for a cause I believe in. So this year I'm raising funds for Mazzoni Center's PACTS program, which stands for Pediatric and Adolescent Comprehensive Transgender Services. Through a collaborative approach including medical care, counseling, social work, and legal services, the PACTS team is able to provide wraparound care for patients and work very closely with patients and their families to form an extensive and individualized treatment plan. So what makes the PACTS program so special is that the team not only works with the youth, they also work with the families. This isn't just a transition for one person. It's a transition for the whole family. So the PACTS team offers support for the families, even non-accepting families, to help them work through whatever might be blocking them from being able to support their child, and to help them completely come on board with the process so that the whole family can transition together. In addition to that, the PACTS program also provides opportunities for families of trans youth to meet each other and to support each other through the building of community, which could and does happen through support groups with the families, but also through one of my favorite parts of the program, which is opportunities to meet at social gatherings and functions. So, during the summer they had an outing at Dorney Park. They do a Halloween party. They do several events throughout the year, just so that because when youth are transitioning, it can be difficult for them because they may not be able to go to social gatherings with their peers. And it can also be difficult for families who can be disconnected from more extended family at holiday parties and gatherings, just with unsupportive family members or family members who may not know about the transition. Sometimes kids can get gifts that are inappropriate for their gender identity. They can be misnamed or misgendered by extended family members. So it can make those kinds of gatherings that a lot of us could take for granted really uncomfortable for people to attend. So the PACTS team organizes events that include everyone so that it helps ease the difficulty of missing out for everyone involved. And I want to just tell you a little bit about why this matters so much to me, why the PACTS program is important to me personally. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I'm a man of transgender experience, and I'll be 48 years old at the end of January. And so, when I was a kid, I was aware of being gender non-conforming, and I was also not able to express that to the people around me. It wasn't safe for me to be honest about that, so I lived in a world of silence and shame around my gender identity. I didn't even know what a transgender person was and didn't find out any of that information until I left the town that I grew up in, until I got into my, really into my mid-20s. And then I started to get my hands on that information, but I had to look for it. So to have, a program for youth to, discover what this means for them, to be able to transition when they're young with the support of their families, that's something I never had. It wasn't possible for me. So to be able to support a program that can provide that for others, and not just the youth. Of course, as a trans person, I identify with the youth, but I also was not able to transition with the support of my family. I'm estranged from my family as a result of who I am. I was told that I wasn't welcome in my family, that I couldn't be who I am and also be part of my family. And this, for me, has been a source of deep grief. In order to move forward and be authentic to myself, I had to set very firm boundaries with my family and separate myself from them. That's something that it's the deepest pain I've ever felt in my life, and I still grieve that loss, especially during the holidays when I'm acutely aware that I can't celebrate with my family. So one of the ways that I help, hold that grief for myself is that I use Buddhist practice, specifically the practice of Metta or loving-kindness. And I practice for myself. I also practice for my family, who I still really love and who I miss every day. I practice for other trans folks who have experienced similar losses. I practice for the families of trans people who, through their own misunderstanding or fear, have not been able to accept their trans family members. I know that they're also experiencing a very deep loss. And it also helps me to practice for, in this particular case, trans youth and their families who do have the hope of having support and community and, transitioning together. The beautiful thing about this is that when families transition together, they're able to affect the communities that go out from their immediate family. So a supportive family can help change the culture in schools, in places of worship, and ultimately, in circles of friends, and ultimately really help change the culture of the world that we live in. And that's something that brings me a lot of hope and a lot of joy. And so I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to sit on my cushion. And I ask you to please share this video, share the news of the Mettathon with as many people as possible. And if you're able to do so, please make a donation of any amount to support my practice, to support the lives and well-being of trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people all over the world. Thank you.